Hi guys. Okay. So there is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. We are kind of confusing people pleasing, like light people pleasing, into people pressure. Subconscious we use the word people pleasing when I feel like this is way above people pleasing. I feel like people pleasing, once it starts harming you, is like the extreme. And I think it's getting confused with, okay, this person is so chill, this person is so nice, this person doesn't take anything to heart, with the fact that this person is not standing up for themselves because they have put this image out there that there are a certain type of way in order to fit in order to be liked. And it's getting to the point where you can't break out of that cycle anymore because that's how people know you as. Like when you go to a new school, like a new high school, I feel like we all have this thing of like, we want to be this way, like I don't want people to know this about me, like. And I feel like once you actually stick to that facade for more than 3 months, that's kind of just who you are. But it slowly destroys you from inside, because if you play this very chill, laid back person, and then if something does annoy you, you kind of can't go and express your feelings, because you're supposed to be the person that does not take offense to anyone's jokes. You're supposed to be the person that is so fine with plans getting canceled last minute. That's so fine with the amount of like things that are happening, because that's how you kind of played it off to the point where now you kind of can't change that. And I just think about how it's slowly harming that person, because you're never ever going to realize that you're losing yourself. And even if you realize that this is not me, you I feel like sometimes you just subconsciously are like, I can't change now. And that is a valid feeling. It is a valid feeling to just sit there and be like, well, now I don't want to be this person. It's just kind of, you like slowly start to feel guilty because you're like, well, I'm the one who's put this image out there that I'm so chill, that now even if I want to say anything, like it's not technically their fault because this is kind of what like I put out there. And it just, you feel so guilty from their side, your side. You're holding the weight of two people's emotions. And it's just like, okay, like I don't want to make this awkward. I don't want to make this a big deal. And I feel like the more you do that, you're not making these little exceptions anymore. You're changing who you are, and you're no longer valuing yourself. Sorry. At the end of the day, no one's forcing you, and that's why this part of a friendship is so much harder, because it's like, if your friends see that you're people pleasing, like I've had friends that have been very people pleasers, and I have told them, I'm like, there's a certain point where you can people please, and if you go above that point, I'm gonna slowly lose respect for you because you're not standing up for yourself. I think it's different to be nice to someone, and I think it's different to go out of your way to do something a few times. That's a different concept. I think then it's also a different concept. I think it's a different thing to constantly put yourself through trouble for someone, especially when you don't get that back. That should just not be your go-to, that okay, let me sacrifice. That's not how any type of bond works. If only one person's sacrificing, that's a one-sided bond. And I think sometimes it does stem from this fear that if I'm not like this, these people won't like me. If I'm not like this, they're not going to include me. If I'm not like this, I'm not going to be invited. I'm going to be left behind. And I think you subconsciously make yourself easy. The biggest thing was people pleasing, because it's like, well, I'll just do it this one time, but it's never just one time. It's very hard because it's like you're putting yourself in this box. You're molding yourself to fit in. You just kind of over time, you can see it in your actions, and people around you, like your close loved ones, can see it in your actions. I've seen people sit there and do things for people even though that's not who they are, wanting to be involved, included, validated. I feel like you've just spent so much time convincing everyone that you're this low maintenance, chill friend, that it is so extremely difficult to admit that what you did hurt me. Your actions did hurt me. This joke took it too far. And that's where people pleasing will mess with you psychologically. Once you've set this image out there, like, this is who I am, you've kind of, again, subconsciously told yourself things. You're not allowed to get upset. Um, and then so every time anything goes wrong with your friends or with whoever you're people pleasing to, There's going to be a time where you're going to overanalyze and overplay these conversations in your head, and you're going to find a loophole in which they are not someone that crossed your boundaries, they're not someone that hurt you, and it was just you overreacting. And you're going to constantly do that. You're going to be saying that, you're going to be like, well, it's an overreaction on my part. Like, why am I being so, like, sensitive? Why am I being so dramatic? Like, let me just calm down. And you don't understand where, like, your actual personality is ending and when the performance is beginning. Like, and I say no for the first time. I disagree with something. If I say something without needing validation, and if I say something like this, or if I act like this, someone won't like me, that's when you realized that I was people pleasing. And if they don't like you for you, then so what? And if you finally speak up, if you finally say no, if you set that boundary and they don't like you, then that should speak volume. That if you have to perform in front of someone, and the minute the performance is gone and they don't like you, that should say a lot. That in itself should be your answer. Because you will get exhausted by pretending, but if they don't appreciate who you are, who the real you, who your personality, yourself is, then that should speak volumes. Because you don't get validated, you don't get loved, you don't get chosen, you don't get included by shrinking yourself, by molding yourself, by putting yourself into a box. Because at the end of the day, people who are meant to be in your life are going to be in your life without you changing, without you changing your whole personality for them. It always starts off small, and you never realize when these small things add up. You balance is key. Don't go to the extreme. You decide how you are. You decide who's in your life. You decide if this person doesn't like me, okay, I'm not changing myself. Why would I change myself for someone's approval? They're not going to be with you if they only like you in a certain way. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to you. You can't blame your friends for wanting to, for you being a certain way. This is not on those people that you people please for. This is on you for thinking that you need to people please, and you need to get accustomed to this pressure for those friends. If you think they're genuine friends, you would have never needed to do that. And if you do that just as a precaution, stop it. Because what if those friends actually do love the real you? That's a version of yourself that you need to get out, and you need to understand that people will adore it. They will adore that version of you because they chose to be friends with you. They chose to have that bond with you out of millions of people in this world.